What's happening, YouTube? This is Alec bringing you my 29-gallon rainbow fish tank. Now, the subfamily name for these guys is Melanotaeniidae, something around those lines. I might be butchering it, probably am, but you get it. Alright, where these guys originate from or come from is New Guinea and Australia. Mine are New Guinea species, and I mean, these fish are, I love these fish. These are probably the most hardy fish I've ever owned. Their water parameters will include a pH between 6 and 9. Now, the difference between that is acidic and basic. Anything below 7 is acidic. Anything above 7 is basic. Now, let me put this in other terms. Angelfish like softer water, which is acidic, which is below 7. Angelfish and rams, your South American cichlids. Your African cichlids like harder water, which is above 7, which is basic, which is basically 7 and above. So these guys can go kind of a little bit either direction. Now, what happens if you get outside of these parameters? It's going to stunt their growth. It's probably going to dull their colors and stuff and things like that. But it's really probably, unless you just have no clue, it's probably going to be hard to get out of those ranges. All right. Now, we'll go into the temperature. These guys like a temperature between the ranges of, in the wild, 5 degrees Celsius and 35 degrees Celsius. In your tank, you need to keep it between 23 and 25 degrees Celsius. And when trying to induce mating, you can bump it up to 28 because hotter temperatures make these fish more active. Alright, the behavior of these fish are, they're generally docile creatures. They can be community fish. I would not keep these with shrimp because of their eating behaviors. If you ever seen these guys eat, they eat like piranha. They are aggressive eaters. And I feed them bloodworms soaked in garlic to prevent ick because garlic boosts their immune system. But other than that, like most fish species, there's a dominant effect. They, as you can see, the red rainbow's chasing them around. They don't fin nip, they don't stress really, but he's establishing the fact that I'm boss and I'm letting you know it. Now, it's worse in the probably first 2 days that you get them. He'll be chasing them constantly, and then after that, they kind of chill out, a little bit, become a little bit more chill, and they generally, they kind of become more. Once that's established, until you introduce a new fish. Once you introduce it, he's got to reestablish his dominance, or the new fish, if it's bigger, is going to try to establish its dominance. And that will do the same thing. Alright, so that's generally the behavior. They're, like I said, they're docile creatures, don't really fin nip, but there's a dominance packed in there. They're feeding, like I said, I feed mine bloodworms soaked in garlic. I've heard many people, they'll feed them New Life Spectrum. I haven't tried that, so I can't vouch. But I'm going to, because I want to see if it enhances their color, even though mine are pretty colorful already. Plus, I want to give them something else to eat, I mean, I do give them flaky foods, but I mostly give them frozens because I don't know, it just seems like a healthier option for me. But, anyways, but that's what I generally feed mine, is just bloodworms. So, sexing. Sexing is an important part. As you can see, all of mine are very, very colorful. That tells you that they're all males. Females don't even look like the same species. My New Guinea red rainbow there, the dominant guy, the female of him looks completely different. She is, where he is dark red from the belly up, or not from the bottom of the belly, from midways up, she is black there, and like silvery gray below that. Didn't look the same thing. And generally, why I do not keep females is because you need 2 to 3 per male. That's not enough. I could have one male, which is one colorful fish, and probably 3 females, and that's all I would be able to stock my tank. So do I keep females? No. They're very easy to breed, so if you keep them, you need to watch for them breeding. I will not be getting into the depths of mating with rainbow fish, because it will make too long of a video. But so far we have talked about sexing, water parameters, behavior, feeding, where they come from, and last but not least, what you should generally keep these guys in. They are strong swimmers. I would keep them in something like a 55, probably even a 75 and up if you've got a lot. I mean, they're probably just, even though fish, I don't know too much about their sensory organs, or like I don't know enough about their brain, so I couldn't tell you. They probably don't really recognize what gallon. I know they don't know what gallon size, but they probably don't really recognize a lot of what's going on. So I don't really think they understand. But it seems less cruel to keep them in a small gallon size tank. They are, like I said, they are strong swimmers. They enjoy being schoolers. They like to be in. That's one reason I had two Bozemonte, and I was like, you know what? I'd rather have a school than have just two of me. So I got 5. Like I said, I'll probably give them to my cousin when they get full size, because these things can grow up anywhere between 5 to 7 inches, which is it's a pretty big that's a pretty big size fish for a tank. That is, for a standard tank. But basically, I mean, that's pretty in depth about the rainbow fish. Like I said, they're pretty beginner fish. I mean, they're pretty easy to care for. I've done a lot on this tank, and they've just thrived. But anyways, I mean, I guess that's it for now. Next video we'll be talking about the mating habits of these guys. See you later.